I'm Michelle Stirling for Friends of Science Society. I'm standing on Riverdale Bridge, which crosses over the Elbow River that flows through downtown Calgary. And on the other side of these communities is the Bow River, which also flows through downtown Calgary. And of course, in 2013, there was catastrophic flooding of both rivers, and many of the communities along this river were flooded out. People were evacuated. 100,000 people were evacuated in Calgary. Not all of them strictly from here, but many of them. So, sociology professor Timothy Haney, who is at Mount Royal University, did a study where he and his colleagues interviewed about 40 people who live along this area and that of the Bow River who experienced flooding, and many of them also work in the oil and gas industry or related industries. And the purpose of his study was to assess whether or not their climate change views had changed based on experiencing this extreme weather event. Now, this is a common tactic by climate activists of all persuasions and in every discipline to try and tie extreme events, extreme weather events, to climate change, as if that's proof of climate change. So in this study, apparently he interviewed people for between 1.5 to 3 hours, and then offered a few quotes in which he denigrated the billboards of Friends of Science. So I'm guessing that perhaps our name showed up quite a bit. One of our famous billboards was, "The sun is the main driver of climate change, not you and not CO2." And he reacted rather strongly against the influence of our billboards. But in fact, there's nowhere in his paper where he considers the fact that many people who work in the oil and gas industry might be scientifically more curious and skeptical of some of the claims of climate activists, and therefore more qualified to question climate alarmism than people in the soft sciences like sociology and psychology. And so I've written a paper that rebuts the work of Professor Haney, and it's posted on Social Sciences Research Net. So you can have a look, see what you think. And you know, these rivers have been flooding for decades. In fact, 8 of the worst floods in Calgary's history were before 1933. And 2 of those floods were a far higher flow than that of 2013. The 2013 flood happened to be a rare but known meteorological event that was compounded by the fact that the rainstorm, which normally would blow from the Rockies out across the prairies, instead, because of the air pressure, was packed up to the Rockies, and the rain fell. A lot of rain fell on very deep snowpack. So all of those were very big contributing factors to the 2013 flood. But it wasn't evidence of climate change. So I'm hoping that we can bring a bit more common sense to the conversation, because, of course, the City of Calgary is planning to spend $87 billion on trying to stop climate change. And by these inferences that spending this money will prevent a future flood or other kinds of extreme weather, you know, it's really misleading the public. And recently the Parliamentary Budget Officer issued a report that shows that, you know, even if all the countries met all their Paris targets, it would have no benefit, no damage to our economy, and no benefit climatically, especially because Canada's contribution, and therefore Calgary's contribution to climate change, is tiny. So have a look at the paper, have a look at our website if you'd like to support our work, If you want to help us get more billboards out there, please donate, please become a member. Please share our stuff with everyone you know. The Friends of Science Society, I'm Michelle Stirling.